Okay.
What's next?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of What's Up New London. I am your host, Steve. Hey, what'd you think of the new intro? Drop a comment and let me know if you like that. Stick around. I've got just a few holiday event reminders. We're getting right into the peak of the holiday event season. And then we'll continue our look back at the baby boomer generation. That's all coming up next on What's Up New London. First off, a few holiday event reminders coming up this week at the New London Public Library. On Monday, they'll have Christmas tree craft from 10 to 5 p.m. Then on Tuesday, they're going to have a snow globe craft. That'll be at 6 p.m. in the evening. And on Wednesday, cake decorating from 10 to 2. Looking ahead to Saturday, December 9th, that's the big day here in town. That's Hometown Holidays and the Who London celebration. Start your day off with a pancake breakfast down at the New London Fire Department. That'll be from 7 to 9 a.m. The Christmas parade kicks off at 10 a.m. It'll bring all the characters to town for the kids to meet and greet afterwards. And speaking of kids, there's going to be a giant gingerbread dual slide downtown. They'll have face painting and some balloon tying, all sorts of things for the kids to do. Plenty of marketplace vendors, and hey, the big news is the marketplace vendors are all going to be right downtown this year. You don't need to truck out to the Heilman building to visit the vendors. So the marketplace vendors will be downtown, and don't forget to visit the local merchants whose donations make this all possible. Then coming up on Sunday will be the New London Parks annual Breakfast with Santa Claus. That is by donation only, and that's from 8 to 11 on Sunday. So you can have pancakes for breakfast 2 days in a row. You don't even need to cook breakfast this weekend. Lots going on in town. Come out and enjoy the fun. It's sure to be a great time. As we continue to take a look back at the baby boomer generation, we like to look back at nostalgia and fond memories, but I thought it might be good to take a short segment and talk about just what is a baby boomer, what makes a boomer, and some facts about our generation. So what is a baby boomer? Well, a baby boomer is anyone born in the post-World War II baby boom years, 1946 through 1964. During this time, over 76 million babies were born. We represented 40% of the U.S. population. We still make up almost a quarter of the total population, and 10,000 of us boomers turn 65 every day. By 2030, all baby boomers will be 65 years old. 41 million of us boomers are still working, making up a quarter of the total U.S. workforce. In fact, over 7% of baby boomers age 65 and older have not yet retired. Well, some may think that technology and baby boomers don't often go hand in hand. 18% of baby boomers do their grocery shopping online. And baby boomers yield about $2.6 trillion in buying power. 90% of baby boomers are married or were married, and statistics indicate that 49% were married when they were 18 to 33 years old, while only 28% of millennials in the same age range are married. 48% of baby boomers use Facebook. Most younger people have now moved on to more visual platforms such as Instagram and TikTok, but baby boomers still prefer Facebook, with only 2% of baby boomers using TikTok. They're also quite fond of Pinterest, with 40% of boomers using it compared to 35% of all internet users. The most popular social media, YouTube, happens to also be equally popular among young and old, with about a 70% adoption rate. Baby boomers, in fact, invented most of the technology we use today, including the internet, the Ethernet, and the World Wide Web. And it was two baby boomers, in fact, that created Apple, the world's leading technology company. Well, there you have just a little look back at what makes us boomers. Well, I've done several segments now looking back nostalgically at some of the iconic toys of the baby boomer generation, and I've got several more episodes on toys lined up. But today I thought we'd take a look back at some of the toys that didn't make it to icon status, toys that ultimately were removed from the market for safety reasons. You think back at the beginning of the baby boomer era, we didn't have all these government agencies looking into safety, and pretty much if somebody came up with an idea, if somebody'd buy it, they'd sell it. So let's take a look at a few of the toys that didn't make it to icon status. First off, lawn darts. Darts were modeled after the classic dart that you'd play a dart game with in a pub or the home rec room, but lawn darts were a monster compared to the dartboard dart, equipped with a 12-inch long metal tip that would pierce the ground and pretty much anything else in its path. The game was based on horseshoes. You'd throw the darts at a ring on the ground instead of a metal stake, but where was that ring? Right next to the other people. What could possibly go wrong? Well, in 1970, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, and I know I thought that was strange too, but the U.S. Food and Drug Administration classified the sharp pointed darts as a mechanical hazard and prohibited their further sale. Next up, chemistry sets. Man, chemistry sets were big back in the day. They usually end up under the smart kids tree next to the erector set. They were chock full of chemicals. You could do all kinds of fun experiments. They had great stuff in them like ammonium chloride, ferric ammonium sulfate, tartaric acid, and phenolphthalein. And then in the 1960s, the government got involved in the Federal Hazardous Substance Labeling Act and put the kibosh on all that fun. Well, not to be outdone, the A.C. Gilbert Company, the same ones that brought us the chemistry set, in 1950 saw the use of the newly acquired atomic energy as a potential toy for young upcoming nuclear scientists, and they came out with the U-238 Atomic Energy Lab. This baby included a Wilson cloud chamber, a spintharis scope, several samples of actual uranium-bearing ore, an electroscope to measure radioactivity, and a Geiger counter, which probably was going off in Billy's toy box all night long next to that uranium ore. Well, they didn't sell many of them. They were pretty high priced, and a year later, in 1951, better thoughts prevailed, and those were pulled from the market. Next one up's the Wham-O Air Blaster. What could be so bad about a gun that shot nothing but air? Well, for some pranksters, it was hard to resist the temptation of aiming at the side of your friend's head, resulting in ringing ears and, unfortunately, in some cases, permanent deafness. And some kids quickly figured out that the gun could do more than just shoot cans off a fence post. In fact, any object that you could cram down the muzzle would become a projectile shot with missile-like force. What could possibly go wrong there? And it certainly backs up the Wham-O brand name. Our last toy is the Thing Maker. I knew them as the Creepy Crawlers. It was a nifty gadget. You'd take a plastic goop, put it in a mold, plug it into an electrical outlet, heat that mold up to 390 degrees. It would cook that plastic down and come out like a fishing lure today, like a rubber worm, and made little spiders and all sorts of bugs and creepy crawly things. But of course, kids were impatient, so you ended up with a lot of burnt fingers because they didn't let the mold cool all the way. In 1973, the newly formed Consumer Product Safety Commission stopped in and ruined all that fun. I mean, come on, really, what's a couple of first and second degree burns? That's why kids toughened up back then. Kids are soft today. Anyway, they put the kibosh on that fun. That's our look back at just a handful of the banned toys that didn't make it to icon status. Well, that's it for this episode of What's Up New London. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, drop a comment. Let me know what you think of the new intro segment. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time, as always, stay safe and God bless America.